Welcome to Humphreys of Henley TV, countryside concierge at its finest. And here we are, our second episode from the most beautiful South Downs. We are just about a 15-minute drive outside all the hustle and bustle of Brighton. And look at this incredible backdrop. South Downs at its best. We've even got a cricket match going on down there, and there's a little pub that we're going to head down to, walk down and have some lunch in the village just below us. It's absolutely magnificent. And we have just been to see Devil's Dyke, which is owned by the National Trust and is a famous beauty spot within the South Downs. And there's a rather glorious myth all to do with Devil's Dyke. The story goes, and obviously it's completely true, that the devil was digging a trench because he was planning to flood the Wealds of Sussex and get rid of all of those pesky churches that lived there. But an old woman in the trench lit a candle, so he thought it was daytime or morning was coming, so he had to flee, and as he was fleeing he chucked one last shovelful into the ocean, and that's now the Isle of Wight. So there you have it. This is why it's called Devil's Dyke. Anyway, it's absolutely stunning, and it's so lovely to have the contrast of the incredible city of Brighton, which really is just lovely. And we've walked down the beach and you get a real sense of the different areas of the beach. I mean, there are stalls, there are yoga classes, there's volleyball courts, there's a naturist beach, and then there's a more sort of family friendly area, and it's just glorious. So whether you just want to have a bit of a wander down there, it's a beautiful place for dog walking or just sitting and looking out across the incredible beautiful blue ocean. Now, Brighton Pier is a bit of a must. It may be a little bit cheesy, it may be a little bit touristy, but it's just wonderful with all of the stalls and the merry-go-rounds and the fun fair and so on. So certainly worth a visit. And then as you walk down past the pier, you come upon the amazing British Airways i360, which is a sort of pod-like creation that you climb into, and it goes up a straight line up 138 metres. So you can see across the ocean, you can see across the rooftops of the beautiful Regency town of Brighton. It's quite amazing. And even better, there's a bar in there, so you can have a little glass of bubbles while taking in the view. It really is just wonderful. Now, Brighton really does challenge London. It may not be as big, but the choice of food options down here is absolutely glorious. Every nationality that you could possibly imagine, and we've been on a rather fabulous foodie tour, which we'd really recommend that you do, because there are so many. You want to try and find the absolute best bits. So it's a wonderful place just to wander through and stop at one of the bars and do a bit of people watching, because there are lots of people down there. But also, actually, we've hired a Blue Badge guide, and you see a load that you'd never ever normally see, and you hear all of the secret tales of smugglers and the oldest pub in Brighton and all that sort of thing. So it's worth having that bit of expert knowledge just to make sure that you see the very best bits within the lanes. And if you don't want to spend any money, probably leave your credit cards at home, because there is temptation at every turn. It's absolutely glorious. And another lovely area that we were wandering through is known as Kemp Town, after a chap called Thomas Kemp, and there is the Thomas Kemp pub as well. And it's just wonderfully quirky and a bit bohemian. It's very residential, and all of the stunning Regency rows of houses and so on are just glorious. And it was the real arty-farty, well, I think it is quite still the sort of arty-farty hub of Brighton. And there are blue plaques everywhere. Laurence Olivier, Joan Plowright, Terence Rattigan, every which way there are the blue plaques to some of our most famous and distinguished actors. Now, Brighton, location-wise, is so simple to get to from London. It's about an hour's train drive, or by car as well. But actually, I'd really recommend a night or two down here, because there is so much to see, and it gives you the perfect excuse to stay in one of the town's beautiful hotels. There's the iconic Grand, which you'll see as you walk down the beachfront, which is an absolutely stunning building. But there are some other lovely little smaller hotels. The Artist's Residence is quirky and glorious and has the most stunning restaurant as well, so very good for food. There's Blake's Hotel, which has got a bit of a reputation for attracting the celebrities. I think Kylie Minogue and Kate Blanchett and all sorts of people have been seen staying at Blake's, and apparently it's a real favourite haunt. So if you want something a little bit more Regency style and grand, then the Hotel Una is the one for you. And if you want to go even more quirky, then the Pelorico, the Hotel Pelorico is the one of choice. So there really are some glorious options to stay. There's a plethora of restaurants and all sorts of gorgeous food options, and just the beach and wandering around has made the whole weekend absolutely wonderful, helped obviously by the glorious sun and the blue sky. So please just give us a call, tell us when you want to come, and we'll arrange an absolutely magical behind the scenes visit to the glorious Brighton. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and share it with any of your friends who might be interested. Please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any other episodes. And we are now going to go and take a rather lovely walk down across the South Downs to our beautiful little pub where we're going to have some lunch. Look forward to seeing you next time.